Brian Grimes, your real estate mentor, back with another action packed session. We're going to break down house hacking, some of my secrets here, how you can scale your way to $5,000 a month of cash flow ASAP. Break yourself out of the 9 to 5. If you're new to the channel, like, comment, subscribe, leave a comment that says I subscribe. For everyone who leaves that comment, I'm going to send you instant access to my free real estate training. It'll show you how to acquire properties for pennies on a dollar all across the country. You don't want to miss out on that free offer. If you guys have questions, comments, as we're working our way through this, drop them in the comment section, drop them in the chat section, send a super chat if you like, and just stay tapped in. You're going to want to stick around to the end for the Q&A. People ask great questions, and the answers can be a game changer. It can be the difference between you getting into a deal this year or just kind of sitting on the sidelines and watching everybody else kind of make all the money. So as always, I want to start off with a little bit of mindset before we get into the lessons. And the mindset I wanted to touch on this week is, what's your motivation? What is your motivation? So why you need to focus on motivation is really key. You need to focus on the motivation of why you're doing this, because like I talk to a lot of people every week, and some people, I'll ask that question, what's motivating you to want to get into real estate? And they really don't have an answer. There's like no answer at all. It's just like, well, I saw some videos on YouTube and it looked interesting, so I figured I'd kind of dig in a little bit. And I'm like, all right, well, you're not really ready to take the journey because you're not motivated. You don't have this burning desire. You don't have these other reasons that the people who are highly successful have. You don't have a why yet. You don't understand what is driving you to make this change in your life. Because whenever you're doing something that is going to be a heavy undertaking, even if you tap into like mentorship, you will get to your goal. It will become easier. But making a life change, like tapping into real estate and trying to change your personal situation around, trying to build generational wealth, trying to build cash flow, trying to scale your way outside of the 9 to 5, there are going to be challenges along the road. There's going to be bumps along the road. Your motivation is what keeps you dialed in there. So what is your motivation? Understanding your motivation and then staying tuned into that on a daily basis is the key between you pushing through those barriers, between you getting up and putting in the work every day versus not doing it. So if you're just walking around in life and you're punching a 9 to 5, you're making your money, you're kind of living for the weekend, you're partying a little bit, and you just have no idea like why you're doing all of this. You haven't stepped outside of what we would call like the matrix. Step out and get that bird's eye view of yourself and say, what's motivating me? What am I thinking about? What is going on? And here's some motivations. Some people I talk to, they're like, oh, well, my kids are my motivation. It's generational wealth. I'm doing this real estate because I want to change my kids' life. I want them to learn about the real estate so that they don't have to work for somebody for the rest of their life, or grow up and punch the clock and kind of be in this position like me. So that's my motivation. I need to learn this stuff ASAP because I'm not getting any younger. I'm getting older. And if I don't do this and give this to my kids, they're going to be lost. So I'm like, great. Now, out of that motivation, let's talk numbers. How much money do you want to make? Is it the 5,000 a month like we'll talk about today? Is it 10,000? What's that number that you need to live off of real estate full time? And then here's the blueprint on how we can get there. Your motivation might just be you. It might be like, look, I hate the 9 to 5. I hate my boss. I hate my job. I'm unfulfilled. I'm not happy. I'm not excited anymore about what I do. So I want to take the money from my job and I want to now apply this to real estate. I want to make my job my partner and take that cash, park it in the real estate, and start to work my way out of this because I really want to be an artist. I really want to focus my time over here. And my 9 to 5 is taking all of my time. So I want my time back. Your motivation sometimes is not money, it's your time. Financial freedom is not only about money, even though they say the financial comes first. It's really about the freedom. The freedom is a time freedom. A lot of us just want our time back. We want to be able to do what we want to do with our day. Because if you think about it, that's the only thing that we all share is that 24 hours in a day. We share it. No matter how much money you have or how little money you have, you share time. So if you can get your time back, you are way ahead of the curve. Even if you were making less money than somebody else, if they had to give all of their time for that money and they had no time for their family, for themselves, for their mental health, for the well-being, and you had the time, you could be wealthier than them. Essentially, you would have a wealth of time. So you should all, if you don't have a motivation, you don't know your motivation, you don't know your why, you need to come up with a motivation, because when times get hard, the only thing that we have is our motivation. What is pushing us? What is driving us? What is going to keep us on the mission? And you need to write that down, and you need to remind yourself of that motivation at least once per week. You need to remind yourself. A lot of like I posted a video. If you follow my Instagram, I posted a video today. I just did like my first muscle up, unassisted, no bands, no nothing. And I had been training for that for 2.5 years. It was a motivation, and part of my training was like, hey, I want to be able to do this. I want to be the version of myself that can do this, that is strong enough to do this. So then I'm getting up every day for years, going to the park, going working out, more pull-ups, more push-ups, failure, not hitting your goal, keep pushing, keep pushing. Then even at points, not being as focused on the end goal, but falling in love with the journey and just saying, you know what? I know I'm getting stronger. I know I'm pushing myself every day. I'm enjoying the journey. I'm going to let go of the goal, because sometimes you have to let go of the end goal to get there, to stay tapped in, on the mission, which is in order to get to the goal and be able to do that exercise, I got to get stronger. So I don't need to think about that ultimate goal. I need to think about getting stronger every day. So now I'm focusing on that. And then ultimately you get to your goal. By the time you get there, you're like, I need another goal. Now that I can do the muscle up, now I want to do sets of 10. So now I have to set another goal that keeps me tapped in and motivated to get to the next level. But your motivation is everything. Your why is everything. So for those who are even thinking about calling me, Dr. Glock said, yeah, 32 viewers, 3 likes. Guys, let's get the likes up. Like, comment, subscribe. Leave a comment that says I subscribed. Share this content with somebody who you think will get help out of it. But definitely get those likes up, get those shares up, get those subscribes up. If you don't have your motivation, don't waste the time to pick up the phone and call anybody for help with your journey. Don't waste the time, because you haven't done enough work on yourself yet to know what is driving you, to have internal drive. I can't give you drive as a mentor. I can motivate you, right? These calls will be motivating to a lot of you, but it's not that sustained motivation. It's not a why. Now, your children, they can motivate you because you'll see them every day and you'll know, I got to push. I got to go harder. Sometimes not having enough cash in the bank can motivate you to keep pushing. Not enjoying what you're doing every day can motivate you to keep pushing. Having bigger goals, bigger dreams, having other passions and wanting your time. But you have to understand what motivates you, and then you have to keep that top of mind at all times, because that's going to keep you pushing. So let's like, comment, subscribe. Leave a comment that says I subscribe so I can send you access to that free training. Click the link in the description, tap into the YouTube channel, tap into the Instagram, tap into all of these different channels. There's a lot of free content. Another thing I'll talk about a little bit is the ride along. We just had the ride along over this past weekend on Saturday. We had about 15 people fly in from all over the place, some from outside of the country. Amazing day. Saw about 10 projects, rehab projects, full gut. Some were completely finished. Some were just being demoed, active construction. And we got to see like all of the city, essentially. We spent from, I think, 7:30, 8 in the morning until about 5 p.m., right? Amazing day. And one of the takeaways you guys should have for that, if you have the opportunity to join the next ride along I do, definitely do it. I'll drop some footage on it, this one, but definitely give yourself that value. Getting out and being able to touch the real estate physically, put your hands on this stuff, and go around with somebody who's done this hundreds of times. The nuggets that I'm able to drop on site it's insane. Like it can 10x you, even if you've done 5-10 deals before. It can 10x you because I've done hundreds of deals. I've scaled this operation to different levels. So it's something that you guys need to do. Roland was out there. He said, fantastic experience. We were out there all day. I actually extended the bus, extended the whole tour so we could spend as much time together. And the people who were there know I was like, look, you guys want to wrap this up or you want to see more projects? They're like, we want to see more. It's like, all right, cool. I got more deals for you. And we couldn't even see all the deals that we're working on right now. So definitely treat yourself to the next ride along. It's a ton of value, but it's a unique experience. There aren't many people in this game who consider themselves mentors and do all this real estate stuff that will actually take time out and spend a day with you, taking you around a major city, going on site, and it's all day Q&A, right? It's it was like a 12-hour day. So make sure you guys tap into that. So let's get into this house hacking thing. Why a lot of us are here is we want to house hack our way out of the 9 to 5. What is house hacking? House hacking is where you take a single, either a single or a multi-family experience. Challenge was there. She said, best experience, well worth it. She flew in from Canada. House hacking is where you pretty much will take a product. So there are all these different types of lending products that offer different levels of leverage. And we'll get into kind of maximum leverage and what I mean by that. But it's taking products that were designed for owner occupants in one way, shape, or form, and redesigning them and utilizing them in a way where with value adding, we can add a lot of cash flow to our situation. So we're taking owner occupant loans typically and redirecting them as investors, or we're taking different types of loan products that are out there and we're utilizing them at an expert level to hack this house, to improve this house, to maximize the highest and best use value of this property so that we can make as much money as possible. And this is how you will have a blueprint to house hack your way to $5,000 a month. Because there are some people out there. I was just talking to somebody today from California. Her father is a investor. He's probably making $100, maybe $200 a month per property. And I could definitely teach somebody like that, hey, here's some house hacking strategies that can get that number up to $500-$600 a month, maybe $1,000 a month. And we'll talk about some of that today. If you guys have questions as we're going through this, definitely drop those questions in the chat. We'll kind of answer them as we go through. Like, comment, subscribe, share it with somebody who's going to get value from learning these house hacking strategies. Because look, I get on here and I teach you guys this stuff. There's people who won't ever teach you guys any of this stuff. You could pay for a $10,000 course and not get some of this information. Wesley was there. Great experience, man. Nice meeting you all. Locked in for sure. Definitely. It's not only about me. It's about meeting other like-minded investors as well on these ride-alongs from all across the country. These are people you can partner with. You can leverage your resources with. You could leverage contractors and construction relationships with. There's a lot of value there, but you're learning together and you're building kind of a brotherhood with other people, other investors that are out there. So number one with house hacking is value add. Whenever you're investing in real estate, you always want to work backwards. So part of working backwards is seeing the finish line. You have to see the end goal and then push for it. Just like when I was working out, I said, I want to do a muscle up. I'm seeing this super aggressive exercise that I want to do. And then I'm saying, okay, let me work backwards from there. What exercises do I have to do to build up the muscles to be able to get there? So I'm looking at the future and then I'm reverse engineering my way to it so that I can get there. Even if it takes me a year or two, I'll do that stuff. I'll get up every day to get there. And that may be something that separates me from the average person. But all it is focus and hard work. So if I can do that, you guys can do that. If you apply yourself in that way to real estate, anybody can go from where they're at today to a millionaire in real estate, quite frankly. If I give you the blueprint and you apply this stuff and you show up day after day and just chip away little bits, you don't have to get all of the muscle, the real estate muscle overnight. If you just chip away at it year over year over year, you will wake up one day and you'll be a real estate millionaire. And it's not going to take as long as you think. It probably would only take the average person with that focus around 2 or 3 years. It could happen sooner depending on how much cash you have, how much capital you have. But first, you're thinking outside of the box. You have to outthink the competition. You have to be able to look at a deal as a house hacker and say, here's how it's set up now. It's a 3-bed, 1-bath starter home, 2 stories. Maybe it's a ranch. Maybe it's freestanding. Maybe it's a row home, whatever it is. And you have to imagine it as something else. This is part of house hacking. You have to reconfigure this property. You have to add more bedrooms, more bathrooms, finish the basement, blow the roof off, build up a level, extend it into the backyard, build a ADU, an accessory dwelling unit in the backyard. Get rid of the living room, get rid of the dining room, put in another powder room, put in another bathroom, put in another bedroom, build an in-law suite. You have to start to add some of these value add strategies to this product so that you can see further than the competition. Seeing further than the competition is what allows you to get higher valuations, because when you're value adding the property, the ARV, the after repair value, goes up. When that after repair value goes up, you now are working in a whole different stratosphere than other investors who are looking at this property and trying to price it. This means that you could outbid them on the property and still make more money than them. So this is a wrinkle that allows you to play a different game, right? So if you're in a market even where you say, wow, I just keep getting outbid, I keep getting outbid. Part of why you might be getting outbid is because people are thinking bigger than you. They're outthinking you because they can afford to outbid you and still make money on a deal. They'll still make more than you. Even if you got it at the price you wanted, they're going to make more. So step one is thinking about how to value add some of those strategies. You may need to watch this video again. I just broke down for you guys, just rattle off maybe 8 different ways to value add. But choosing one of those ways to value add, understanding the pricing and the construction costs behind that, which if you don't know, the cost behind these things, tap into mentorship, get in a program where somebody can break down the cost of construction for you, how long things take, how much things cost, and having access to that knowledge is going to allow you to execute. Part of this game is definitely knowledge. In order to outthink somebody, you have to be smarter than them, more knowledgeable than them. So understanding the cost of construction is going to give you a competitive advantage that's beyond this world. So you have to, this is a good thing to point to. This is one of the key benefits of mentorship and paying that price, that cost of mentorship. If you pay the cost of mentorship and you learn how to outthink all of the competition on future deals for the rest of your life, where you can make more money than other people on the same deals because now you can think bigger, that cost of mentorship, you will get a 10x to 20x return on the cost of mentorship just by thinking bigger, being able to get better valuations, force more equity into your builds. This is why it becomes smart, why the people who they climb high enough to understand, oh, it might be smart for me to get in a mentorship, because they can see the ultimate value down the line. They're not short-term focused. So they're not just looking at, oh, well, I paid this cost of mentorship today, and that means I have less money today. They're not thinking about today. You're thinking about today potentially, but they're not. They're thinking about how they're going to outsmart you on every deal that you step to the table against them on. They're thinking about, I'm going to outsmart that version of me, and I'm going to make more money than that version of me. And if that version of me isn't smart enough to go out and learn this stuff, oh, well, tough luck. I guess they'll just pay in lost opportunity. I guess they'll pay the ignorance tax. And that's something that a lot of people don't know about business. There's an ignorance tax. There is no just, oh, well, I could choose to be smart or I could just be ignorant and I'll make the same amount of money. No, you won't. You will pay the ignorance tax, and the people who are smart won't. So it's going to cost you more. It's going to drag you. Steps. Any questions, guys? Drop them in the chat section, comment section. I'll just keep flowing through this thing, and we'll keep going from there. Number 2 is leverage. You want maximum leverage when house hacking, because in order to build big cash flow, you have to do 2 things. One, you have to increase the value of these properties by adding more bedrooms, generally, because more bedrooms, more cash flow. People are paying rent by the bed typically. Think about things like Section 8 or some of the government programs that are voucher based. Those vouchers are based on the bed size. So the more beds, the more cash flow. So in order to get up to that $5,000 a month number, you need to add enough value in the terms of cash flow and just adding more income coming out of this property. But another part is what you put in, and this is cash on cash return. So let's say there was a deal where I put in $50,000 and it paid me $1,000 a month. And then a deal where I put in $10,000 and it paid me $400 a month. The cash on cash return is way higher on the $400 a month off the $10,000 then off the $1,000 a month, off the $50,000 investment, because the amount of cash that I put in is less. So relative to that deal, I might take that. How you would do the calculations, if I took that 10,000, I put it in 5 different deals, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Now I have that 4 times 5, 400 times 5. That's $2,000 a month. So off that same 50,000, if I broke it up into 5 different properties, now I'm getting $2,000 a month instead of $1,000 a month. So the return can be a lot bigger based upon your leverage. This is why you want to maximize your leverage, because having more leverage, if you invest like we invest with 100% leverage, because we have lenders that'll give us 100% of the money to buy and renovate properties for a living. Now we have very little money in these deals. We might do a burst strategy, refinance all of our capital out of the deal. Now, even if I'm making $400 a month per door, if I have no money in that deal, or maybe I have $2,000-$3,000 left in that deal after the refi, my cash on cash return is like 50%, 80%. Sometimes it's unlimited. Sometimes it's over 100% a year of a cash on cash return, because I maximize leverage. Some ways to maximize leverage are, of course, a FHA loan. You could do a FHA, put down 3%. There are 1% mortgages out there. Put them on a 30-year fix. There's also 40-year notes out there. So there's some news articles that came out in May of this year that talked about 40-year notes for FHA people. And if you fell behind on your FHA mortgage, you could get a 40-year note. But I did even more research, and there are legitimate 40-year fixed interest rate mortgages out there. They're just not national. They're in what we would call the non-QM space, the non-qualified mortgage space. There are two or three companies in Massachusetts that offer these. I will send a list. Anybody who's interested, if you're in the mentorship program or anything, DM me, text me, email me, whatever. Even if you're not and you want to reach out, leave a comment and I'll reply to it. And DM me, reach out to me. But there are 40-year notes out there, and how they work is the first 10 years is an interest only payment. And then after the first 10 years, it breaks down into a 30-year fully amortized mortgage, but the rate is locked in the entire time. It doesn't change. You also have some 40-year notes. There are some national people, New Res, R-E-Z, New Res. They offer a 40 that is similar to that, but I believe it's a 5.5. Somebody has this 5.5 product where they'll lock in the interest rate for 5 years, and then it converts and changes every 5 years, essentially. So it's like a 5.5, 40. But there are 40-year notes. What a 40-year note is going to do is it's going to extend the payment term, which is going to reduce the monthly payment that you're making, which means more cash flow coming in because your mortgage payment is lower. So you're keeping more cash flow every month. These products were initially designed for owner occupants, but as an investor, if you take an owner occupant type of a loan and you restructure it with a house hacking type of a strategy, do some value adds, get maximum leverage and restructure it, you're going to win. And then these 100% loans, we'll kind of talk about more as we get to point 4. Here's a quick question. What's the best way to start figuring out my real why? Which is back to the mindset. I think you have to really step outside of the matrix a little bit to figure out your why. You kind of have to maybe do a little meditation, maybe go for a walk, man, and just focus on it. Just kind of ask yourself that question, like, what is my passion? Where do I want to be? I mean, here's where you start. Where do I want to be 3 years from now? Give yourself enough time. I like 3 years because it's short enough, but it gives you enough time. In 3 years, you can accomplish a ton if you work towards it every day. Where do I want to be 3 years from now? So start there. What's your 3-year plan? 3 years from now, I'll be this age. By this age, I want to be here. I might want to be at 10,000 a month, 20,000 a month. Then reverse engineer from there. Okay, what do I need to do to get there? What types of assets do I need to acquire? How much money do I need to save? What type of strategy will get me there the fastest from an investment standpoint? What type of knowledge do I need? What type of resources do I need? What's going to make it easier for me to get there? Is a construction crew going to make it easier? Is knowledge going to make it easier? Is a ride along going to make it easier? Is mentorship going to make it easier? Is the School of Hard Knocks going to make it easier or harder? Is that going to set me back? So you start asking these questions and just stay in a vacuum with it. Don't add in, pressure, family pressure. Don't add too much reality to it, because that's the matrix. Don't add too much. Oh, but my job, they're not going to give me a raise and blah, blah. That's just the mind kind of running off with itself. You just need to stay focused on where you want to be and what is the ideal plan that can get you there the fastest, most efficiently, without pain, without a lot of pain. And I would say mentorship can get rid of a lot of pain, because if you run out in these streets with these contractors and all this stuff, you're gonna feel it. So start there, work backwards. And that's if you don't just know. Some people just know, like they just wake up every day, they look at their kids and they're like, that's it. Or they want to start a family and they're like, until, in order to start a family, I want to feel financially stable. I want to be here. So I need to get to real estate to get here. Or they just got married and they just bought a house and they unloaded some money and they're like, all right, I got everything that I thought I wanted, but now I want my time back. I want it back. I want to control my day. I want to work out. When I was working a 9 to 5, I literally felt like my body was atrophying. That's why I'm so obsessed with working out now, why I do it so much, because I would say it was 50% of the reason why I wanted to be my own boss was so that I could work out every day whenever I wanted. Because sitting at a desk for somebody like me who's like played athletics their whole life, all the way through college, and it's one day somebody just pulls the plug and it's like, oh, go put on this suit and sit at a desk. And you're just like, I'm wasting away. I didn't like how it felt. So that was a big motivator for me, was like to have the freedom to get up and build my life around physical, like my own physical fitness and what I can do on that end, and just maintaining strength, general, just health and well-being. So it's not all about money. Money doesn't motivate everybody. And the reason is because there's always somebody who's going to have more money than you. No matter how much money you have, there's typically somebody that has more money than you. And if you get big to that Kanye West level and you start running around saying you're the richest Black person in America, then they freaking cut all your deals and then you're not, like overnight. So even some of the wealthiest people, their wealth is like tied to the stock market. And then when the stocks go down, they're not anymore. So this is always about these other things, these things that you can control, these things that are internally purposeful to you. But that's why it's so difficult. And that's why when I talk to people and I'm like, why are you doing this? And they're just like, I was just thinking about it one day. I saw a cool ad and I just wanted to learn a strategy and I'm like, that's cool, but that's not going to keep you up at night obsessing. That's not going to make you do the push-ups even when you're freaking injured, even when you got a neck strain or a back strain and you still go, even when it's raining and you still go, even when it's cold and it's the winter and you strap up and you still go, and it's freezing. You're going to freeze for an hour, but you got to do it because you can't skip, because you still have that goal in mind. You still have that motivation. You still got to look your kids in the face and let them know that you put in that work. And how you do anything is how you do everything. How you do anything is how you do everything. So if you skip this, you're going to skip on the real estate. If you skip the workout, you skip the real estate because you're a skipper. You're a skipper. You have an internal voice that tells you it's okay. It's okay to quit. It's okay to skip. It's okay to hide. It's okay to not go after your goals. So that's who you are until you stop listening to that voice. But how you drown that voice out is with motivation, because it's never okay to not push when something's motivating you. Like, it'll never be okay for me to look at my kids and just be like, yo, I'm just going to sit on the couch and not grind and not hustle. This will never be okay. So it's just whatever gives you that burning desire, that's what you do. You have to fall in love with some aspect of this. That's why I can be unbreakable with real estate because I love the game. And if you do the activity of real estate, you will make $1 million in real estate. You will have your just due. You will have your day. It's a foregone conclusion. It's hard to get that through to people, but you will get to the goal in real estate if you stick with it. No matter how long it takes. And it won't take you however long you think it's going to take you. Some people are like, Brian, I got a 10-year plan. I had a 10-year plan, guys. My plan was to get into real estate, buy one property per year for 10 years. That was my plan. I'll get one deal a year, 10 years, $500 to $1,000 per deal. That was my $5,000 a month plan. In 10 years, I acquired and built through over 300 properties. And I had a 10 property plan, 10-year plan. And in that 10 years, I did over 300. So you will do more than you believe you can do, and you will go further than you believe you can. It's a question of how quickly you want to get there. Mentorship gets you there faster, like light years faster, like a decade faster, right? And with less pain. The School of Hard Knocks, you may run into a pitfall where it now takes you extremely long, but that's part of you being foolish, being penny wise, pound foolish. Some of us are penny wise, pound foolish. Some of us will take our checkbook out and stroke $3-4 grand on the vacation, but won't put $3-4 grand on our education. Some of us will put $3 or $4 grand on the vacation and won't put $3 or $4 grand on our education because we don't understand that education is going to make us a millionaire. The vacation is a waste. If you had the opportunity to wake up every day and do what you love, you wouldn't even need a vacation. The reason you need a vacation is because you're burnt out from your current life. So don't go on vacation and escape it. Change your life. Start doing things that change your life. And you're getting older every year. So every year you decide not to make the change right now, like today. It's just wasted. It's wasted opportunity. You can make whatever excuse you want. You can say, oh, the market's not ready. Oh, my money didn't hit yet. Oh, my credit's not perfect yet. Oh, everybody's got a billion excuses. They don't matter. You have to get the skills. You have to tap in. You have to get the knowledge. Once you get the knowledge, everything will open up because you'll be replacing excuses, fear, doubt with knowledge. And once you have the knowledge, you can see. You have the clarity of vision. And then you can start to execute on this stuff effortlessly. A lot of people can't execute on it because of just these small things. It's this little knowledge. It's not this great big knowledge. And a lot of us believe that it's all this knowledge I don't have. It's all these big things I don't get. No, it's these little tiny wrinkles that you don't get that are holding you back. And somebody like me has the clarity to see exactly. This is the mentorship. I can see exactly what you're lacking. I can see the exact thing I need to fix. Oh, this guy doesn't understand the burst. He doesn't understand the refinance. Okay, so here's how it works. This way. Oh, you don't understand that way? Let me explain it this way. Okay, now you get it. Okay, cool. Now you got it. All right, go run. And then once you start running, you're like, oh, now I really get it. And once you get it in real estate, you never unget it. You never forget it. You just it's like you wouldn't forget how to ride a bike. If you haven't ridden a bike in 10 years and I pull out a bike, you'll hop right on it and ride down the street. Because you just don't unremember these things. So that's what I would say. The best way to start figuring out your real why is to really analyze yourself, what motivates you. Ask yourself where you want to be, 3 years from now. Keep it short. And then reverse engineer your way to that person. What does that person do every day? What drives that person 3 years from now that already has what you want, that already is in the house that you want, that is driving whatever you want, that wakes up and creates their day? What does that day look like? Do you know what that day looks like? Who do you want to be? I knew who I wanted to be. That version of me was at the park working out all day. Not all day, because we're doing this work, right? But working out every day, as much as possible, pushing itself every day. That's what that version of me was doing. It was not sitting at a desk job. So I knew, okay, when I become that version, you don't just get what you want and get financial freedom. You're like, you know what? I want to be lazy and sit on the couch, because that's not what got me there. That wasn't the mindset. The mindset was every day push yourself, even when you think you can't. How you do anything is how you do everything, and really believe in that and really understanding the results of that. So you have to analyze yourself. This is why I say I can give you guys real estate knowledge. Anybody who wants it, who's watching, I can give you all the real estate knowledge you need to make $1 million. I don't care who you are. I don't care about your sob story. I don't care about how much your credit score or how little cash you have. None of that matters to me. I can still show you how to make $1 million in real estate. You aren't special in that. You aren't special in having bad credit, little to no cash, being in a priced out market. We all are or were. We all are or were. That doesn't make you special. You're not the special person who can't make it in real estate because of these hurdles. I can remove those hurdles for you. I can show you how to just lift those up, move those over here. They're gone. But then once they're gone, now you have to have that clarity of vision and motivation. That I can't give you. I can't be there with you every day to say, you got to run your comps. You have to analyze the market. You have to add more wholesalers to your list. You have to get on more mailing lists so you see every deal that hits the city, it comes across your desk. You have to connect with the lenders. You have to do. I can give you the blueprint, but the motivation underlying that is what is going to allow you to hit that $1 million faster. You could still get there without it, but why waste time? What are you wasting time for? What are you waiting for? Like, what are you waiting for? What do you think's gonna happen to motivate you? Why are you looking outside of yourself for the motivation? And where do you think it's gonna come from? You think you're gonna see some video on some ad on YouTube, some talking head guru's gonna pop up and now they're gonna motivate you? What about when you find out something about them and then you're not motivated by them anymore? Then your motivation goes away because it was tied to them. Tie your motivation to you. Make it so internal that it's almost not even about real estate. Real estate will become a manifestation of your motivation. It'll become one of them. Working out may be another one. Spending time with your family may be another one, another manifestation of your internal motivation and drive. There's multiple manifestations of that. Real estate being one is a great one to have because generational wealth and tax write-offs and deductions. Real estate has so many benefits. It's hard to even talk about them all in one live session. It's like I need almost infinite live sessions to talk about all the benefits and all the strategies and all the ways you can go. But you got to get that within. You have to have that motivation, that drive. That's even outside of money, all of these things. It just has to be, who you are at your core. It has to become you. You have to understand who you are. I learned who I was when I was cold calling. When I started cold calling for a living. And I was cold calling in the insurance sales business. I learned that I was fearless and that I was hustle. I am hustle. I am going to do the work. No matter what, I will pick up the phone. I will dial. I will go through the fire. That's where I found myself. I said, oh, I'm this energy. I'm this frequency. This is my frequency. It's go time. It's do or die. I'm going out on the shield. That's my energy. And that's the energy I bring to real estate. I will go out on the shield and I will get back up and redo it and come back stronger. I will do pull-ups for 2.5 years to do one muscle up. I will do thousands of pull-ups and push-ups and body weight squats and crunches and dips and whatever for one muscle up 2.5 years from now. Because that's the energy. That's the frequency. That's what we're on. And if you ain't willing to do that, then you got to get out of my way. Because I'm going to do that. And I'm going to bring that same energy to real estate. So then it's like, well, if you want the results, are you willing to put in the work? You don't even have to work as hard as me if I give you the blueprint, because I'm going to tell you the exact exercises to do. Guess what? I got to figure out all the exercises and go get educated and fail and learn. And then, oh, I wasted a year because I should have got the weight vest a year ago. I wasted a year trying to do this and following this person and doing that. So then I come back with it and give you guys the game. Here's the exact straight line path to do it. And some people are like, I don't know. I don't believe it. And I'm like, it's not me you don't believe, it's you. You know deep down that you ain't ready because you ain't motivated, because you don't have that clear answer of why you're even on a phone call with me. You don't even have a clear answer. And to me, it's crazy. It's like there's something there that knows you need to make a change or you wouldn't be talking to me. Nobody, you wouldn't even be watching this. If something told you wasn't in you that was like, you need to make a change, you need to be in real estate. Because this ain't the channel to watch. This isn't drama. I'm not driving around Lamborghinis and doing all this stuff. This is none of that. So you wouldn't even be watching it. You're only watching it because you know you're ready. Something knows, something within you, but you're not clear yet. You as your physical person, you can't see it yet because there's too much clutter in here. There's too many voices. There's too much talking going on. I'm competing even in this with whatever other drama that you think is more important than you becoming a millionaire in real estate. So there's just mental clarity. Sorry to go off on these rants, but it's important for you guys to hear some of this stuff. It's important for you guys to hear some of this stuff. Said thanks for the motivation. Definitely, guys, like, comment, subscribe. If you somebody needs to hear this message, which probably a lot of people do, share it with them. Like, comment, and subscribe. Definitely dropping. Said BG Yoda. Mindset is the most important thing. Mindset is the most important thing. It's the most important thing, man. Once you have that mindset, the real estate it's going to happen. It's all going to fall together. Let's get into point 3. If you guys have more questions, comments, drop them in the chat section. We'll just keep flowing. Looks like we're doing good on time. Number 3 is the 1 year rule. So whenever you're house hacking, you have to understand the 1 year rule. The 1 year rule typically applies to things like a FHA loan. When you're doing that, they say you have to live in the property for a year. When you're house hacking, you're typically trying to do this on a larger multifamily property. Or you could house hack a single. You could house hack a 3-story townhouse with a master bedroom, a suite. You might live in a master suite with your own bedroom, bathroom, and then rent out all the other rooms. Rent them out $500, $600, $700 per month per room. And you can make a ton of money. You could be living in your house, getting paid $1,000 a month off your own house. Right? So that's house hacking. But when you're doing it on a multi, you will do different things. Like you could rope Airbnb into the strategy. Somebody asked me recently, Brian, if I had a multi, could I put Section 8 in the bottom floor? Like if I had a duplex, could I put Section 8 in one unit and then Airbnb the other? Yeah. Well, could I Section 8 one and then the other one's like a 2-bed, 2-bath? Could I room rent, the 1 bed, 1 bath, and then keep the 1 bed, 1 bath open for me? Like I live in that one, but I'm still getting, yeah. So the earlier you start this stuff, some of us start this later in life. We have kids, we had a family, the wife's like, no, we live in where I want the kids to go to school and XYZ. And you kind of know you got to run that play. But if you're starting this journey and you're very young and you don't have, the kids and all the stuff kind of weighing at you and it's just you, or some of us are even a little bit older, it's still just us, you can do some extreme house hacking. And then play the game with this 1 year rule. During the 1 year period, you might kind of live in one room, still rent out the other room, still try to get as much cash flow out of the whole building. I had a unit I took some people on a ride along to. We didn't get to see the whole building, but we actually saw the first property that I bought. We stood foot in it. That's such a, for those who are able to share that experience with me, that's such a special experience for me to be able to take you guys into the property where it all started for me. So literally, you just stood where the switch happened for me. But we got to go to that property. I was going to live in the basement, rent out the 2 units above me, and get paid. That was going to net me like $400 a month after all bills to live in my own house. That was going to be my first deal. I ended up renting the whole thing and making more. But that is that 1 year rule. There's some different wrinkles you can do with that. But whenever house hacking, if you're leveraging some of this maximum leverage, which is a owner occupant type of loan, it typically is going to come with a 1 year rule attached to it. So for that first year, you have to start thinking outside of the box, outthinking the competition, and seeing what you can do with this thing to, make even more money off of it. Number 4 is full gut versus cosmetic. So sometimes when you're house hacking, you want to go super cosmetic. House hacking could involve, in terms of the value add and outthinking, it could just be like, hey, I'm going to room rent this thing because I can get $800 a bed or $500 a bed, $600 a bed. And if I room rent it, I'm going to make way more money than somebody who is just doing this as single family. How that works, like let's say you have a duplex and you have a 3-bed, 1-bath over a 3-bed, 1-bath. So that 3-bed, 1-bath unit may rent for $1,200 a month, but each of those beds may rent for $565 a month. So now instead of getting, $1,200 a month, you're getting $1,800 a month essentially, or thereabout, $1,785 a month per unit. If you start room renting them, and if you set up the systems, and there's a lot of apps and tech I can tap you guys into that will show you how to do that, how to market it, how to tenant it, how to do all of that stuff. So now you just increase the cash flow off the same asset. So now you might just buy it cosmetic, room rent it, increase the cash flow, and that's a good house hack, right? That's a solid house hack. Others of us, and for the cosmetic, we're going to take the maximum leverage loan, the 40-year note. We're going to take the FHA 3.5% down, whatever we have to do. Now, some of us are going to go full gut, because with the full gut, we can truly outthink, we can redesign and recreate, and maybe go with like a co-living where there's multiple master suites and we're just renting out everything for more like $750 a month now per unit versus, or per bed versus $565. So now we're getting even more. So now instead of $1,200 a month, we're getting like $2,250 a month out of that 3-bed type of property in terms of square footage or unit. So with the full gut, we can take on 100% leverage. We can go out and get the hard money lender that'll give us 100% of the money to buy and renovate the property. We can design it in a value add way where we're maximizing the cash flow. Some of us that were on that ride along with me, we were in one property. They're like, Brian, where's the living room? I'm like, exactly. And they're like, oh, it's like, yeah, people don't even live like that anymore. You see how big the bedroom space is? You see how big the bathrooms are? I killed the living room because people don't even operate in the living room anymore. People are just kind of chilling in their room. They had a little eat-in kitchen. They can chill in there. People are living off their laptops, their tablets, and their iPhones or their smartphones. For those Androids out there. I'm more of an iPhone guy, but the Androids definitely may have better features. But you can do some of that full gut stuff and still take on 100% leverage, build the property to refinance all your money out of it at the end. Cash flow. That's a house hack. So you have to decide also, who are you? Some people, if you're new to the game, what we would do is start with the cosmetic. And then after you get that first cosmetic under your belt, then we start to stretch you into the full gut. If you're in my Boots on the Ground program where I'm building the house for you, we might just start off with the full gut. Because you're like, well, Brian's doing all the work anyway. So since Brian's knocking it out, let me just start full gut and house hack and value add and maximize my leverage and do all of these things to make money. We had a question. Are you referring to co-living with master suites where each room has its own bathroom? Are you renting out rooms with one bathroom? Yeah, we're talking about both. So co-living, and I may do the next session we do on co-living because it's such a hot topic. I recently started a property management company that can do co-living tenanting, which is specialized, right? Not a lot of property management companies do co-living tenanting. So this is something that we can definitely do for those out there who are in the Boots on the Ground program, where we're building the houses for you in Philly. If you need us to do the co-living tenanting or room rental tenanting, we'll do it. We'll do it in-house. We're actually showing properties right now that are, getting a lot of action. But yeah, co-living is where you would create a series of master suites. So if you've ever been in a property and you go in the master bedroom and there's like the master bathroom, that's what we would rent out as co-living. So we will rent that out for like $750 a month, you call it. Could go higher, could go lower. For the room rentals, if they're sharing the bathroom, and I can talk quickly about the pros and cons. For the room rentals, that you would probably charge closer to like $600 a month, $595, $600, $625, depending on the size. And you can rent those out for less. I like co-living more if you can build it creatively and with some of this maximum leverage. If you do that co-living play, it's awesome because like when I took our ride along people in the co-living building and they got to stand in with me, they got to understand it truly. And they were like, oh, I get the genius of this, because they saw there was just like an eat-in kitchen. And they're like, wait, so there's no real place to hang out in here? I'm like, yeah, because everybody's big concern is like, well, what if the people don't like each other and they're doing, and it's like, yo, there ain't nowhere to hang out. You go to the kitchen to make some food and then you go back to your unit, but your unit is like this studio space essentially. So because of that, it's the ultimate product, because you don't share your bathroom. More people are going to fight over that bathroom. Who, if there's a shared bathroom, who cleans it? Like who maintains that space? Whose responsibility is it? Now you have to hire a cleaning company and do different things to maintain the common areas. It's kind of like a dormitory, right? Somebody has to maintain the common areas. So you don't necessarily want to be in that position. It's not that you can't do it and that product doesn't exist, but then there are different levels of management that you have to put into that product. So yeah, Dr. Glock said it. Gurus charge $2,500, probably more. I've seen gurus charge $8,000 for this strategy session, like what we're doing right now, just on this live call. People charging, serious money for this, guys. So, but yeah, that's what I would say there. There's a lot of wrinkles. Like I said, I would have to do a whole session on co-living, and we will, to break down all of these things. Nichelle said, how much is the boots? Just text me. We'll talk about the Boots on the Ground program if it's something that you're interested in. But the Boots on the Ground is a subscription. It's fee-based subscription, month to month, where we do everything. We find the properties, we build them, we will get them listed, we'll tenant them, whatever you're looking for. Right now, the Boots on the Ground program is in Philly, so we're doing this for you in Philly because that's where I have my best teams. And I want to give you guys the best. Like if you guys are trying to tap in with me and you want me to build houses for you and do all these things for you, I need to put you with my best, right? I can't put you with my B team. I can't put you with my C team. I want to make sure you guys have a smooth run at this thing. So, guys, any questions, comments you guys have, definitely drop them in the chat. Like, comment, subscribe. Leave the comment that says I subscribed so I can send you guys that free training. And share this with somebody who you think will get value. Anybody who you think will get value, definitely share this with them. You said we had a question about, if you have a question about container homes, just let me know. Just drop it in. Number 5 is just creative financing solutions, guys. There's different creative solutions out there, like the lease purchase options, the subject to. Some of these things are other ways to think about house hacking. Like, can you take a house that's in pre-foreclosure and acquire it without even going to the bank, without putting down a down payment, and then reposition that to a rent-to-owner? And isn't that house hacking? Isn't that taking a property that is delinquent and restructuring it and then repositioning it in a way where you can create value add? Because when you go to room rent a house to somebody who has compromised credit, now you can charge a premium over the market rate. So even if a house would rent for $1,500 a month, you can charge them $1,700, $1,800 a month because it's rent to own. And then they'll get some type of like rent premiums, and they might come in with a $5,000, $10,000 security deposit to rent to own that property from you. So there's a lot of value adding you can do to these types of products. Value adding, you could take houses and condo them out and sell them individually. So there's just a lot. There's just a lot that you can do. How can we connect with your mentees in Dallas or Houston? Just reach out. I mean, join the Facebook group. We have a Facebook group. I mean, you guys are all free to connect with each other. I mean, we're building a community out here. So you guys are certainly free to stay connected to each other. Tapping into things like the ride-alongs and all of that stuff. That's an easy way to meet people from all over the country, because it's not just, even if you're in that Dallas or Houston market, this thing is nationwide, man. There's real estate everywhere. There's good deals everywhere. I'm working with somebody right now in the Chicago market. What a gold mine. And everywhere ain't the deep hood. Everything ain't O Block. So like, you can find really good deals out there. And Chicago is an incredible brick built city. So some of these multis, I'm seeing massive multis, 2,800 square feet, going for like 150. They got the Chicago Land Bank. They're auctioning off big multis for like $12,000, like big multifamily shells. Um, my Facebook group, it should be a link in the description. If you look in the description on this live, there should be links that will take you to the Facebook group, that will take you to my Instagram page, that will take you to my LinkedIn, that will take you to my free training. All of that stuff's available for you guys. So click the links in the description. It's in the description of all of my lives, so you can kind of tap in. Yeah, Joe said everything ain't O Block. Everything ain't O Block, guys. One of the biggest takeaways from the mentees that I was able to take through the ride along was when we went to the hood, because we went into the hood, and you get off the bus, and it's like birds chirping, people kind of chilling, like the hood feels good. It's like, yeah, the hood does feel good. It's not that bad. It's not as bad as they make it on TV, because they're trying to sell you fear, because fear gets your mind trapped and it's clickbait, and people will watch it. So everything isn't always as it appears. So connect with people from all over the country. Look at the real estate from all over the country. Broaden your horizons. Learning how to invest out of town is maybe the wisest decision anyone will ever make as a real estate investor. Is learning the skills and the mechanics of how to invest out of town. Because once you invest even a state line away, if you go 200 miles, you could go 2,000 miles away. Because at some point it's going to click, and you're just going to be like, oh, wow, I can really get this done. Yeah, nobody beat us over the head. We hopped off the bus. We had the cameraman. I was flexing on him. No, I wasn't flexing on him, but nobody beat us over the head. We were just out there, just out all over. We were in North Philly. We were in West Philly. We were in Germantown, Mount Airy, West Oak Lane. We went out on City Line Avenue. We went out in all these different parts of South Philly. We were in Center City. We were all over the place. Nobody beat us over the head. People are out doing their thing. People ain't thinking about you. People ain't trying to go after real estate developers who are rebuilding the community either. Even the drug dealers are not. They're not worried about you guys. Like, they're trying to run their business. You're trying to run yours. Their business happens to be illegal. And when somebody's running an illegal business, the last thing they want is a bunch of cops and drama on their block, because that's going to hurt money. So they're not coming to beat you over the head so that you call the cops, knowing that you own this property, so you're going to be a problem. They're not trying to do that. Half of the drugged out blocks I was on, to be perfectly honest, most of the leaders of the gang, or whatever you want to call it, are going to come up to you and be like, look, can we get some of that demo work? Some of my young guys is hungry. Like, drug dealing, everybody ain't making big money. Like, a lot of the younger guys, like, they're starving out. So they trying to get that demo work. They're trying to make a couple $100. So there's a lot of mutual respect, because real estate is a street business. It just, that's kind of part of the difficult transition for a lot of us, even like myself, who was coming from white collar into this game, and you don't know how to operate blue collar and in a street business. So there's a learning curve there, which is why mentorship can help tremendously, to help you to talk the talk, walk the walk, and just understand how to operate out here. Because you're constantly, as a developer, you're touching the street, but then you also have to be in the boardroom with the lenders. So you're kind of doing both and walking both paths. So, guys, I'm not sure if we have any questions. Actually, looks like we have a couple more. Is there a market or need for container homes in Philadelphia or Baltimore? Definitely, I would say there's always like a want or need, but it just depends on where you're trying to build that stuff. Like, I would imagine you would build that in some of the nicer pockets, the nicer neighborhoods, because you're going to want those ARVs to hold. When you're bringing in, one thing you'll run into is when you're bringing in these containers and all these things, you're talking about shipping them onto site and then dropping them in the place with cranes. And when you're in some of these major cities, you had the power lines right in front of the houses. So now you have to navigate those power lines. And so you're going to be wanting to look for different types of land lots with access from the rear of the property or big alleyways. There's going to be more strategy there. And can you fit that crane and that big double wide truck down a small single lane South Philly block or Baltimore block that's like a single lane where people are damn near parked on the sidewalk? Like, you have to do a lot of mental mapping and make sure you're picking the right types of deals. But definitely, container homes, you can make money doing container homes once you get it down to the science. Considering the market being the way it is, do you now think we should start buying properties using a 65% rule instead of a 70%? No, I think you still just look at real estate the way that you look at real estate. Like, does it cash flow? Is it going to bring in that capital for you? Is it cash flowing? If it's cash flowing, you better be buying it and holding on to it. If you're trying to flip it, you can be as conservative as possible with your comps, and you want to control your construction costs and your budgeting. But real estate is real estate. I don't think the market actually is pretty stable right now. The market hasn't been going all over the place. It's been relatively flat. So with the market the way it is now, I would say this is a good time to get in, learn the game, and get a deal or two under your belt, build some relationships with lenders, because rates are going to start going back down real soon. And when they start going back down, you want to have those pre-existing relationships in place, so that you're just set up. Because, like I say all the time, lenders don't like new friends. It's like the Drake song. They don't like new friends. They don't like new people. They like pre-existing relationships. So if you have it, when the market changes and you're trying to do 3-4 deals, you're going to have that red carpet rolled out. If you haven't touched base yet, you're going to kind of feel it. I don't think anything of a slight uptick in the interest rate. I think it's just that, a slight uptick. I think it's kind of a final fake out before rates start to fall. We've already seen the Fed start to about face. Inflation is coming under control. So I don't really think much about it, to be quite frank. I think how you looking at it right now is, if you can get a property right now that cash flows at all, which plenty do, so you can still find something with good cash flow on it. What I've been doing to help some of my boots on the ground people is I property manage at 5% instead of 10. Industry standard is 10. So I'm giving you that extra 5% back in cash flow, which could be like an extra $150, $200, so that you just keep it. But what happens is, as rates fall, people are just going to refinance. Into the lower rate. So when you refinance into the lower rate, you're just going to unlock the cash flow. So the cash flow is there. It's an illusion, right? So you could buy it now as cash flowing $300 a month, $200 a month. You're like, that's bad. Well, two things are going to happen. One of these two things is guaranteed to happen, if not both. One, rents are going to appreciate, because they typically do. If rates keep going up, it's because inflation's out of control. Part of inflation being out of control is prices going up, rents go up. So even that $200 a month is going to turn into $400, $500 a month. So it's going to grow into a nice cash flow. And that's probably going to happen anyway. Rates are going to go back down, so then you refi and you unlock the cash flow. So even if the rents didn't appreciate, because the rates go down, you unlocked the extra $200 a month in cash flow by refinancing. So that property that was cash flowing $200-$300 a month now doing $500. So it was an illusion that it was a bad deal, because it wasn't cash flowing $500 from day one. If you buy it now and refinance it in 2 years, it's still a good deal. And when rates go down, prices go up. So you would still be buying at a lower price today than you will hypothetically be buying at 2 years from now when rates are lower. So you have to look at this game holistically. So what do I think of a short-term slight uptick? I don't think much, because I'm looking long-term. I just don't think much about it. I do see it. I do notice it, but I don't really put that much stock into it, because I'm just playing a longer game. How long does it typically take you to refinance out after you completed a renovation? I would say, it depends, right? It depends on your strategy, because are you doing Section 8? Section 8 is a longer tenanting term than market tenants. So it just depends. Are your utilities already on? How cosmetic was the renovation? Was it a gut? Was it heavy? Is it light? So it all just depends. It all just depends on what you're dealing with. What else do we have? We're not doing rates and finance today. No, we're not. And that's it. It looks like that's all the questions. So guys, hopefully this helped. We did a lot of mindset today. We got one more question. How would you handle a deal where the seller can't get tenants and squatters out? I typically will put the deal under contract for 60 days and I'll negotiate like a cash. And we got another one. We got like 2 back-to-back squatters. So you guys are like on the same time. I will do a 60-day contract and then try to cash for keys to squatters. Because most of the time they can't get the squatters out. It's like their uncle, it's like their aunt or somebody in the family or their cousin, something like that. So what I would do is I would take control of the situation, hire an attorney, offer them some money, and you'll be surprised. Like a lot of these relationships are personal. So the person's not going to leave because they don't believe the person is going to put them out. Whereas they know the new owner will. So the whole energy changes when they know, hey, I'm under contract to buy this property. So I'm going to offer you this money now. You can either take $2,000 or $3,000 and leave, or I'm going to take this 2-3 grand. I'm going to give it to this attorney over here, and they're going to become a nightmare, and you will leave. And the truth is, if you want them out, they will leave, no matter how long it takes, no matter what it is, they will get out. A lot of people think that they're the chosen one. A lot of tenants, just like some people, investors think they're the chosen one, and they're not going to lose money as an investor running out in the school of hard knocks without mentorship. They think I'm the chosen one. I'll never lose. I'm perfect. I was built for this. And then they lose 50, 100 grand. There are tenants that think they're the chosen one and nobody can put me out. I'm Billy Badass. And they all get put out too. When they run into somebody like me who is willing to do the work. I'm willing to do the research and dig deep to get you put out. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get you out of this house. So that's what I would say is, what about squatters' rights? What about it? It's rights, but it's not like that right has a termination period, which means if I have all the licenses and I file everything, I can still get you out. Look, you have to understand the squatter situation. The squatter is there because the owner doesn't know what they're doing. I know what I'm doing. So I can evict the squatter. There's still a process for it. There's no right to just do whatever you want. If you do cash for keys, they can sign a piece of paper. That's part of it. You have them sign a piece of paper waiving their rights and saying that they are willingly vacating in exchange for cash compensation and that they can be sued if they try to come back. And then you escort them out, change the locks right there, board it up, and put a security camera on it. They come back, call the cops, and put all their stuff out so there's nothing to come back to. So when they move out on that day, put it all out. Had a moving truck, everything. Oh, we don't know where to put it. We'll put it in storage. Got your free 30 days for $250. Mm-hmm. Look, there's a solution to all this stuff. But this is, once again, a mental game. So when you're talking to the person who's like, I have the squatter, I can't get them out, they're trapped in this mental sphere where they've now bought into the belief that they can't get the person out. That's their belief system now. I can't get them out. I can't do it. There's no way. I did everything. But when they're telling that to you, when they tell that to me, I'll start asking them questions. Well, did you do this? Do you have your rental licenses? Do you have your paperwork together? When does this happen? When is this? And then I start learning, nah, they don't have their paperwork together. They didn't make any real attempts to get above board and start something like an eviction process on this person. They didn't do anything. They just crumbled because they're mentally a little bit weaker, or they're caught in some negative belief systems that are not allowing them to see clearly. So I just look at all of this stuff and I'm like, there's no reality to it. There are no squatters that can't be put out. There's only weak owners who don't know what they're doing and don't have mentorship and don't have support within their inner circle and don't have knowledge and or have limiting belief systems. So you have to talk. That's why you can't just listen to the fear. Those are the same people that are running around telling you don't buy a property because somebody can squat in it
And if they don't want to pay, they'll just squat, and you'll never get them out. And it'll take 2 years. They got all these stories, and it's just stories. It's fear mongering. They should be on. They should be, and those are the people who do end up on the news because they're fear mongers. All they do is spew fear. I read that Philly, Chester, and Baltimore are on the list of the top 10 cities with increases in foreclosure. Any thoughts? Creative financing, baby. Creative solutions. Start learning about how to go after people who are in foreclosure, pre-foreclosure. If you're in any of those markets, it's not only that these places are on the top 10 in cities with increases in foreclosure. Foreclosures are increasing nationally right now. They're coming back. So you want to really learn this information and start positioning yourself. Think about it. If every year millions of foreclosures actually happen, people actually get foreclosed on, that's because no creative financing specialist got in front of these people and really showed them a way out. So there are 2 million opportunities every year that go, just all the way through because nobody got to them. There's an undersupply of creative financing specialists out there, undersupply. So if you become one, you'll be in a great blue ocean of prospects and people who need help, and nobody's going to help them. So definitely start learning about this stuff. I'm referring to refinancing out of cosmetic. Yeah, 30 days. I mean, look, if you buy a property, you renovate it, cosmetic renovation, you get it tenanted quickly. You typically only have to hold a property for 30 days to be able to refinance. That's what we call the seasoning period. It's typically somewhere between 30 to 90 days. I would say 90 days with a credit union. Sometimes if credit gets tight, they go up to 180, like 6 months. But right now, I would say 30 days, in and out like a stick up. Get it tenanted, call a DSCR lender, and you'll refinance right out, especially if you have a lease in hand. I mean, that's all they care about. So the question becomes, how quickly can you tenant? If you can tenant quickly, that's how fast you can refinance out. What about the South? Do you have a team? I have a lot of teams all over the place, but my best teams are where I invest the most. So it depends. But in terms of me building houses for people, I'm building in Philly right now. I'll expand that to some other areas after a while, like Baltimore, Delaware, DC, maybe, some different pockets, maybe upstate New York. I have some contractors in upstate New York, but it just depends. But yeah, it just depends. But contractors aren't always hard to find. You become less concerned about finding good contractors when you understand the cost of construction and you understand how long things take and how to operate. Because once you understand how to operate, you will win. You will win. Even if there's a contractor you never met before, they give you a bid and they give you their pricing, and you just know like it's either good pricing or it's bad pricing. Like you just know, right? Because you understand the cost of everything. So you become less concerned with these things as you get super educated. You'll be able to find contractors. And if you can't, then you need mentorship. And you probably need, if you're just getting started or you're looking for teams, but you don't know how, you don't know the cost of things yet, tap into mentorship. I actually had somebody who was going to tap into mentorship. I'm not sure what happened to her, but she just closed on her first deal. She's all excited about it. And then she's doing a renovation. She really hasn't done a renovation before. And she'll probably get burned because she didn't tap into the mentorship program because she thinks, I don't know why. Maybe she thinks she can outperform it. So she'll probably end up getting burned for 10, 15K. And by the time she realizes that, it'll be a year later. It'll be too late. But everybody has to go through their process. Some people like to learn easy. Some people like to learn hard. I'm not here to stop anybody from learning however they like to learn. You have to learn at your speed and how you like to. Some people pay more for the same product or the same end result. And to get there slower. Yeah, I did go blue ocean on them. What books would you recommend for further education? Always recommend my book, 24/7 Cash Flow Playbook. I recommend staying tapped into the channel, watching all the content for education. I like the Section 8 Bible. You guys have heard me say that plenty of times. Section 8 Bible. Get that. Read The Richest Man in Babylon. I do a lot of audiobooks because you can, drive, work out, and do those and listen. And listen on 2x speed and just kind of learn faster. So that's kind of more of my strategy. But, that's some books. Richest Man in Babylon, Section 8 Bible. These things will kind of reprogram the way you think about real estate, wealth building, leveraging your money, investing in education. Listen to some Jim Rohn and some things that will kind of talk to you about investing in your education as well. Some people are afraid, not saying you are, but some people are afraid to invest in their education because they don't understand the power of investing. Typically for a number, if people are wondering, the most successful people will invest upwards of 10% of their income every year in their education. It's almost like a tithing to yourself, to your own education. If you imagine, for you guys listening, if you invested 10% of your income into your education every year, how much further ahead would you get? If you had that muscle built where you didn't mind writing that check, anything you wanted, anything you thought would help you in business, professionally, or to make more money, that you were like, no brainer, I'm going to invest 10% in my education anyway. And you selected every year things that would make you smarter, more educated, better, and able to create more wealth. There are people out there doing this, and they're the people you're seeing on, YouTube or whatever, having success or talking about their businesses. Those people are investing in their education. They are not just going out and figuring it out. They are investing in their education. They're learning from people who've already done it. And then once they master the fundamentals, they tweak it. So if you're not prepared to do that, then you're prepared to lose to the people who are. If you're not prepared to invest in your education at that level. So guys, hope this helped. I'm going to wrap it up here. Like, comment, subscribe, share this with somebody who you think will get value. We got a crazy mindset rant in this one. So hopefully that helped some of you guys. And, if you're interested in mentorship, reach out, tap in. You know how to get a hold of me. However you got here, it's the same way you can get a hold of me. So reach out. I'll talk to you guys, and we'll just keep pushing. And make sure you tap into that next ride along. I don't even know when we're going to drop it, and I got to get the footage of this one. I think the footage is going to be epic, but I'm just going to try to make the next one even more epic. Maybe we'll try to see 15, 20 deals instead of the 10 we saw. But I don't know how, because the 10 took us all day. Brian Grimes, your real estate mentor, signing off.